our mainstream politicians and the media are not telling you the straight facts. They're not telling you that Trump is panicking inside. Now, if he wasn't panicking right now, it would mean that there is very little going on in his head, because he made a gamble. He thought that if he did a decapitation mission of taking out Ayatollah Khomeini and kill out, destroy much of the leadership in in the convenience of striking a meeting of the department heads, he thought that it'd lead to a quick uprising. In the same way, like you'd see in these kind of stupid Hollywood movies, Black Hawk Down, or these stupid horror, this stupid kind of like army-based American propaganda films. Of course, the reality is he never understood the situation. He never understood that Iran is the way it is because it has been radicalized by the actions of the US. It has been radicalized by the coup of Mohammad Mossadegh in 1953. The popular, democratically elected leader of Iran who was ousted, and the will of the people rejected by the US and, of course, the UK, because he wanted to nationalize the oil of Iran. Mohammad Mossadegh wanted to literally take ownership of the resources under the feet of the people in his own country. But he couldn't do that because the US and the UK, obviously being imperialist, racist, hegemonic, these kind of these people who want to maintain control over resources of other people for their own benefit. They overthrew him. They put a fraud of a monarch. He isn't even the genealogical true here of the Persian monarch, but they installed him. He was not popular after decades, I believe 26 years of just brutalizing the people of Iran. And he was ousted in yet another popular vote. Of course, this was an uprising. It's led to the Islamic Revolution. Now, all of this cascading effect, this domino effect, is a result of the US imperialist ventures in Iran. Now, obviously, the people of the Western world don't feel it, don't understand it, they don't experience it because they are so far removed from the experiences of the Iranians, and they only see from the marches from these pro monarch Iranians, who obviously some of these people are truly sincere. Obviously, the Ayatollah Khomeini is not a force for liberalism, he's not a force for justice. At the same time, the will of the people has to be recognized. It has to be decided. The next government has to be decided by the people, not by the US and Israel coming in and carpet bombing the country. The Israel said there's thousands more targets in Iran. Obviously, they will bomb Iran like they bombed Gaza. The reality is that, and the reason for this video, that Trump doesn't recognize that he's being led by the nose by Israel. Or he may even recognize it, but he is so narcissistic that he does not connect the dots, in that he's being led to make bad decisions. Obviously, this is a leader who's historically made a lot of bad decisions, but he cannot say that this is a decision made by him on his own terms. He obviously has an adversarial relationship with Iran, partly because of his connection with Israel, but also just the Islamophobia, which is so convenient. It's a convenient trope. At the same time, clearly, Trump wants to be seen as a peacemaker, the Peace Prize winner. He wants to be seen as a deal maker. He wants to be seen as a victor. He wants to be seen as a champion. Now, it takes a lot of bravery, intelligence, and strategy to become a true champion. Of course, he does not have these factors. And so he's trying to play the game of the PR battle. He's trying to show that he himself is in charge, and show that Iran are looking weak, and he wants to give the impression that Iran are the ones looking for a peace deal. He wants to look, for a ceasefire. Of course, this is lies that he's putting out in the media, that Iran are looking for a ceasefire. They have gone. The US has decided, by bombing Iran, by a lack of consideration for the peace, talks that were happening hours before the bombing, the progress that was made, hours and hours and hours, over weeks and weeks and months and years. He decided he could spit on the faces of those negotiations and simply bomb Iran on, partly on behest of the of Israel. Netanyahu said he wanted to see, he was looking forward to this day for 40 years. I'm not surprised. This is a psychopath. This is a warlord mentality that is required to maintain this ethno-state of Israel. Because, of course, if Israel decides to, grant human rights to the inhabitants and Palestinians in the country, if Israel decides to simply become a true liberal democracy, it would start to disintegrate as an ethno-state. It would start to lose its identity. And of course, Netanyahu, being a crackpot, racist, ethno-state, practitioner, he of course does not want to see that happen. So this is where we are right now. Trump is not as smart as he thinks he is. He's actually panicking, or if he's not panicking, he's lacking the intelligence to understand what's going on. He's trying to give off the impression that Iran are weak and feeble, but actually Iran, that he should understand that by taking out the leadership, there is a strong commitment to protecting the sovereignty of Iran. And people have experienced that the Shah installed by the US is not the Shah of the people. It is not the will of the people. It is not an expression of true Iranian culture. It's simply an expression of US imperial domination. And so naturally, people who have had that experience, who have understood the history of Iran, it's obviously the people who want the Shah to be installed, or the son or the grandson of the previous deposed Shah want to be installed. They don't understand what's going on. They don't understand the history. They don't understand that they're being led by like puppets by the US. And of course, taking out Ayatollah Khamenei means that the protesters, the people seeking freedom, freedom for women. Obviously, there is a reprieve here. But at the same time, when you install a dictator Shah, he's going to take out his grievances on the people. Because, of course, when you actually have the will of the people, the US and UK simply don't like the results. And, ultimately, neither the US or Israel care about democracy. Neither do the people who are monarchists or, the Shah defenders. They don't care about democracy because, of course, the Shah is a monarch. He rules by total authority. A true democracy as will of the people will not be in the interests of the US or Israel. The UK, US and Israel have been shitting all over Iran, their sovereignty, their dignity, their pride, and yet Iran are still standing. And now, obviously, I don't support, obviously as a person who's communicating about these subjects, I don't support, and I do not, I'm not here to facilitate or give kind of apologia for the actions of Iran. I'm calling things as they are. And the most revolutionary thing you can do is to call out the truth as you see it, as it's very obvious and evident. We are living in a world where people are walking around with blinders. And these are the people listening to the politicians in power who are also have their own agenda, They have a lack of respect for intelligence, for truth, and the will of the people. They have their own ambitions. Keir Starmer has his own ambitions, or he wants to be seen as a successful career man. He's shown to be a person who doesn't have a spine. Trump is shown to be somebody who's narcissistic, egotistical, lacking in the clout, the strategy, and the intelligence that's necessary of a great leader, even though he wants to purport himself to be one. We are living in a world led by these spineless people, or these clowns, or these, half puffed chest, thumping gorillas, and they are lacking the real integrity that is needed from true stewardship, true leadership in our world. We're living in a time where climate change is around the corner. Or rather, we are living amidst climate change, but the effects of climate change, the drastic, just catastrophic effects of climate change is around the corner. We're living in a time when we need to look after our planet, look after our people, look after the children, look after everybody. And let's not forget Epstein files, which really, and Trump's lack of commitment to Mother Nature, his shitting on respect for nature, his love for fossil fuels, his friends in the past who have shown to have paedophilic tendencies, all the people, elites in power, who have friends who are paedophiles, or they are friends of friends. It's the rabbit hole goes very deep, because power attracts these power hungry types of people who do not have the intelligence, the strategy to see things, and the wisdom and the holistic compassion that is necessary to look after and to consider the planet as a whole. They're looking out for their own interests, and they're guided by impulses. They're guided by a lack of integrated, bigger picture thinking. And so we are led into the darkness, we're led into this mess by these people who do not consider the greater long-term implications of their actions. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. That'd be very much appreciated. Thank you.